Yeah, I am back with part 2 of the interview with NeNe Leakes and Carlos King, Lanithia Leakes.
Cheers to the girls' weekend.
NeNe did an exceptional job with this interview. She was very poised. She was NeNe, you know, the old NeNe. I enjoyed watching the entire interview, and I think she did a great job. Some things I didn't agree with her on, but overall, I think the interview was a great interview. So it starts out with Carlos asking NeNe, why did she feel the need to sue Bravo, NBC, and Andy Cohen? NeNe says that she had a love for them that she didn't think that they had for her. When she says they didn't respect her, I don't know what she's talking about. I can only guess that she's talking about pay, and that she's talking about a spinoff show. Maybe she felt like she's the OG, Lanithia Leakes. She was the star of the show, and they didn't give her some of the things that other people had, i.e. Kim Zolciak and Kandi Burruss. NeNe didn't have a spinoff show. She only had a wedding special. So did Kandi, so did Kim. Was Kim still on the show at that time? They both had a wedding special. They all had a wedding special, but NeNe didn't get that spinoff. So I'm guessing she's referencing that. Do I think that's unfair? From the outside looking in, yes. It looks like favoritism to me. It looks like favoritism. It may not be favoritism, but it appears to be favoritism. But I don't know the behind the scenes. You know, I don't know the conversations. I don't know the issues. So I can't speak to, oh, they're wrong, because I don't know the full story. I'm going to get NeNe's side of the story. But it appears to be unfair that she didn't get a spinoff show and other people got spinoff shows. And she has spoke on that before, to be quite honest with you. She spoke on that. She never named a name. She tried to make it seem like, oh, Kandi girl, I'm not talking about you. And she made it seem like, oh, she was talking about Kim, but I think she was talking about Kandi and Kim. So I guess that's what she means about that. Did she pitch something to Bravo and they ignored her? Then what's the reasoning? If she did do that, what was their reasoning for not moving forward with the project? That's what I would want to know. Now, NeNe talks about fighting for some of the ladies on the show, and nobody fought for her to be on the show. Okay. She talked about how she fought for Claudia, Cynthia, and Portia. She said, but when it came to her being on the show, nobody fought for her. I mean, that's a hurtful feeling. Yes, they shade each other, they read each other, but when it comes to making money and everything, you know, that is kind of hurtful that people won't fight for you. Not everybody, at least the people that fought for you, but Claudia wasn't on there for only one season. So Cynthia and Portia. And she feels like she was slighted by she said the entire cast though. And she said there's text messages. They all feel as though things were not going well behind the scenes. They all felt the same way. But I guess she was the only one who spoke up about it. She said they offered her 6 episodes in season 13, and she didn't understand why. And people were saying that, oh, she left the reunion, she left early, you know, and people have done other things. And to her point, she is absolutely correct. Jacqueline Larita, she did not show up to one of the reunions for the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And I believe she came back after that. She says that Kim didn't show up on trips. She could do what she wanted to do, but everybody else had to show up and work. That's another valid point. I would want to know what the reason is, because I'm pretty sure Kim gave a great excuse to not show up. So NeNe probably will lose that battle, because one of those seasons Kim was pregnant. And regardless if Kim was lying about, oh, I can't fly to here, I can't fly to there, if she did fly to somewhere, I think they went to South Africa that year. But did they go to South? They went to South Africa, and Kim said she couldn't go because she was pregnant. She could have very well been lying, because they said, oh, you were going to Anguilla a week before or something like that, or a week after. But I feel like Bravo didn't want to be held accountable if something happened to Kim. If Kim went to Anguilla on her own accord with her own family, that's different than her going to South Africa and being pregnant, and then something happens to her while she's flying to South Africa, and she told them that she couldn't go because her doctor told her that she couldn't fly. I think in that instance, Bravo was probably like, girl, you don't really need to go. NeNe talks about how Bethany can say things and get away with it, and she can't. Now, I will say that Bethany is no longer on the show, and I don't think Bethany left on bad terms. I think she left on her own terms. And I think NeNe left, or like she said, she was only off for 6 episodes for season 13. They usually have about, what, 24, 25 episodes. NeNe left disgruntled. I mean, that's the truth. She left disgruntled. She left disgruntled. So everything that she says is going to be looked at with a microscope, and people are going to judge her and say, you're only saying it because of this. You are only saying it because you didn't get your way with this. It's not like you're on the show, or you left the show, you know, amicable, and you're coming out saying something. I think that is two totally different things. I believe so. Those are two different things. When you're speaking on something, not from a place of anger, not from a place of being disgruntled, it does come off differently. Now, I think NeNe was alluding to something else, why Bethany can say something and she can't. That may very well be true as well. That may very well be true. She talked about how Andy was the R word, but that was her boss. And let me just say this. Let me just say this. You know, having a background in HR, let me just speak to this. I do understand that NeNe was a dancer. She was a stripper. And then I think she was she was a housewife, and she was on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know how long she was a housewife for, but I don't think NeNe has had any office or jobs like that. Now, when it comes to an office setting, I don't think these ladies who haven't worked in the world, the real world, understand how it works. Number one, your boss is not your friend. That's number one. Yes, you can hang out. I'm talking about on the Housewives. You can hang out, you can laugh, you can joke. At the end of the day, that's still your boss, and they cut your paycheck. So it's only so far you can go with them. I don't think NeNe understood that. Yes, Andy, she thought her and Andy were probably cool, and they probably were. But at the end of the day, when it comes to you, and it comes to your job, and it comes to whatever happened, Andy is going to put that boss role on. He's not going to be your friend in that instance. And yes, he may be a little lenient with some things, but some things he's going to put his foot down. And when NeNe called him the R word, I think that's when Andy closed the door. It's like, yes, we're cool, but I'm still your boss. Is he right with that? Yes. Is he I don't know. That's something that NeNe has said. That's something for NeNe to explain her case whenever they have this case or whatever in court. or if they're going to do mediation. But you can't go on the record, not on the record, you can't go publicly and say that about your boss, even if it's true. Now, when you get in court or you get in litigation and you get in, you know, mediation, then you can say what you need to say, but you don't go on the internet and say that. And I don't think NeNe understood that. I don't think she's ever been in an office job, an office setting, where she understands how it works. Now, when it comes to the young ladies, the ladies that cast on the show, and like I said, having a background in HR, she felt like they didn't fight for her. But this is just me. This is Rochelle speaking. This is just what I think. This is all alleged. This is what Rochelle believes. And for some experience, you know, working in HR, sometimes, and I'm going to be 100% honest, sometimes the people that you talk to, that is your coworker, are the same people coming to the HR office telling everything about you. I'm just going to be honest with you. That is the truth. I have experienced that. Being in HR, people will do that and go back and smile and laugh and be with the same co-workers, and they don't even know that this person is a mole. This person is a whole mole, and they don't even realize it. I don't think NeNe understands that. I'm not saying that the people on the cast of the Real Housewives of Atlanta are moles, and I'm not saying who is a mole because I don't know who the mole is or if there was a mole, but I'm guessing, and based on what I saw on the Real Housewives of Atlanta yesterday or day before yesterday, recording, Marlo and Monyetta recording, I'm pretty sure that did not just start happening. People probably have been recording since season 1. And let's not forget about Yvonne, allegedly NeNe having her record Cynthia. Now, come on. So I can only imagine, and this is what I think, or could have possibly happened. Maybe somebody recorded NeNe saying things, and they took it back to HR or executives, whatever you want to call it. But they took it back to the higher-ups and messed her up. They stabbed her in the back, basically. I believe that's what happened. I don't know who. This is all alleged. This is all alleged. This is what I'm thinking. And she thinks that it's just the executives and all of that. But no, I believe people have been feeding them information. And the people didn't fight for you because, girl, they really didn't want to work with you. I mean, let's call a thing a thing. From my eyes looking in, as a viewer, they didn't fight for you because they really didn't want to work with you for whatever their reasoning may have been. I don't know. Maybe they felt you were difficult to work with. Maybe they felt this way, that way, that way. But somehow, because it's a huge piece of the story missing to me. She's saying, oh, they didn't want to give me more episodes. They didn't want to do this. They didn't want to do that. For what? What is the reason? If you'd have starved the show, you giving them ratings and everything, something happened. She said NeNe's making it seem like she doesn't know what happened. But if I had to guess, it would be something like that people didn't want to work with NeNe anymore. Maybe they felt like she was difficult. And maybe part of it was executives, and maybe part of it was the people that she was working with. You'll never get to the bottom of that because of confidentiality. You can't really come out and say it. But I would have to guess that is what happened. I would have to guess that. But NeNe has never been in a setting where she doesn't understand that your boss is not your friend. Really, your coworkers aren't your friends either. They're not. They are your coworkers. You work with them. And yes, there are times where you work with people and you build a friendship, but you know that this person, oh yeah, this is really my friend. Versus somebody, yeah, you build a friendship with them, or you try to build a friendship with them, but you kind of know in the back of your mind, okay, I really can't trust this person. You know the people you can trust and the people that you can't trust. You could just tell. You can tell. And you meet some of the best friends, the best people at the worst jobs, okay? The worst jobs are the places you meet the best people, okay? I'm just saying. But I feel like something like that happened, and I don't think NeNe understands how it works behind the scenes when it comes to HR or executives and everything. They're not your friends. They're not your friends. You're there to do a job, and that's it. And I think maybe NeNe got a little too relaxed, and maybe she was naive to the fact that, yes, you and Andy can have fun, and but at the end of the day, Andy is still the one that's going to give the final decision. That's what I think. Then they talked about, okay, does NeNe want to go back to the show? NeNe said for the fans. Girl, NeNe, for the check. Okay, let's be real. For the check. For the check. Let's just call a thing, girl. You want to go back for the check, not for us. For the check. I would like to see NeNe, even though I felt like as the seasons progress, NeNe, you can kind of tell something was off. Like she really didn't want to be there, but then now she's trying to say, oh, this is this. Like something was happening behind the scenes, and maybe she was bringing it to people's attention, but I really believe some people were backstabbing her. It's not funny. I think people were going behind her back and to her face saying something else. She said Marlo is the most entertaining person on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know what show NeNe is watching, but to me, Marlo's not entertaining. Marlo has no cut cards. I don't know. Marlo, to me, yeah, she's good with the fashions and everything, but Marlo cuts too deep sometimes.
First of all, Candy was a damn hoe. She everybody for free.
Yeah.
That bitch was a hoe, and that pussy wasn't good, and that's why you right here always got the date underneath your tax bracket, okay?
Preach.
And Kenya, I was Miss USA, and I have Kenya more. Bitch, you was a goddamn video hoe. I don't want to know I was a video hoe. Bitch, you went through every rapper in America, didn't get a ring.
Facts.
That's not entertaining for me. I don't think that's entertaining. Y'all, Carlos asks NeNe, does she think that Candy is overrated and overpaid? And NeNe says yes. Here's the thing. Everybody is not NeNe. Candy has a space on the show for Candy. All colors make the rainbow. Everybody can't be blue. Everybody can't be red. Everybody can't be orange. You're going to have some different personalities in the show. When it comes to Candy and, oh, she's overpaid and overrated, this is what I think. And like I said, having a HR background, this is me. This is all alleged. This is what I think based on working in HR. Candy has a resume. Everybody who has worked, you have a resume. When NeNe came on the show, NeNe was but NeNe was a housewife. New to television. She was a brand new face, new to television, and she hit it out the park. Candy, on the other hand, was already in the industry. She has Grammys. She wrote for Destiny's Child, TLC, different people. So I'd imagine that when Candy came on the show, or even, later on down the line, when she negotiates, she tells the executives what she has going on, the things that she have done in the past, and I think that's why she is the highest paid. Let's be real. I think, and if I'm not mistaken, this is alleged, Bethany, I think I heard Bethany say that after she did the skinny girl, Margarita, when they created the Bethany clause, after that, whoever had businesses and everything on the show had to give Bravo a percentage. I don't think they could negotiate that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they had to give Bravo a percentage of whatever business they put on the show. Candy has had OLG, Bedroom Candy, A Mother's Love, Blaze. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but Candy has brought businesses to the show that I believe Bravo has gotten a percentage of. that increases your value. That increases your resume. You're going to bring somebody to me who's going to make me money outside of just being on the show. Of course their pay is going to go up. Of course their pay is going to go up. Because this person, I know this person is going to make me some money. Versus somebody, no offense, like Sheree, we ain't going to get nothing from Sheree. But we just going to be paying her, and that's it. We're not going to get anything in return from her. Kenya only had the Kenya Moore hair kit on there. And to everybody else, if they don't want to bring things on the show because they don't want to share with Bravo, that's their prerogative. But Kandi seems like she doesn't have a problem with doing it. And people say, oh, she just using it as an infomercial. She just using it to promote her product. So that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, what do you want her to promote it on Instagram? Why not promote it on the show? Why not? I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I honestly, not to be funny, I don't know any business that NeNe has brought to the show. If I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to think right now, but I don't know of any business that NeNe has brought to Bravo. Kandi has had a spinoff show, Kandi and the Gang. I think her family ski trip. 2 shows of Escape that everybody was talking about. And you want to know why Kandi is the highest paid? I think I see why she gets most money. It's not just about, oh, she don't have no personality. So what? She knows how to make money. Bravo don't care. Does it look like they care? Yeah, she know how to make us some money. She could bring her no personality self back on this show. I'm not saying Kandi don't have a personality, but I'm just saying what people say. Oh, she's not a star. She's not. That's fine. But she getting the most money. She getting the most money, and people have a problem with it. But they don't understand the business aspect of it. What you not understanding about the business aspect of it? If I know this person gonna make me some money, versus yeah, this person is a star, but this person is gonna make me money. Girl, you a star. You making me money too. In her own right, NeNe has made Bravo money. But Kandi has brought in a lot of dollars for Bravo. Let's just be real. So that's why Kandi's probably the highest paid. NeNe says she doesn't understand why there was never a show or a sit down with Kandi and Phaedra. She says Kandi has always had animosity towards her, and she made up with Portia, even though Portia did what everybody know what Portia and Phaedra did. But she didn't want to make up with Phaedra. And I'll say to that, you can't make people make up with you. Or if somebody doesn't want to be somebody's friend, that's their choice. What Phaedra did, and to be Kandi's friend, I think that's the issue. Had it been somebody random, yeah, Kandi probably been upset, but, she may have gotten over it, or she may have not. But because Phaedra was so close to Kandi, that's why Kandi is upset. It's because, girl, we know each other's secrets, and I never sprayed you I never sprayed your tea, even though she did allude, well, not allude, she did say, girl, when Apollo was still home, he was ready for him to go, allegedly. Even though I heard her say that, but allegedly. Kandi, like, girl, I could have sprayed you, and you doing all of this because you're mad at me. You're gonna risk my businesses, everything that I worked so hard for, and make up a lie. Yeah, Kandi and Phaedra ain't gonna have no sit down, because you don't know Kandi, she trying to headbutt Courtney off of Courtney bucking up on her. What you think she gonna want to do to Phaedra? Have a sit down. And Bravo be liable for that, and she lose everything. And yes, no offense, it would have been nice for them to have a sit down, maybe have a little security there, but for them to have a little sit down to kind of bring it to a closure. I don't know the issue. I think, like I said in the last part, I think NeNe never cared for Kandi because Kandi was in the industry already, and she wanted to come to the show. And it's like, girl, why you want to come over here when you already you a star in your own right. So why you want to come over here and take our shine? That's what I believe. That's just what I think. That's not what NeNe said. That's something that I personally believe. Maybe Candy picked up on it, and maybe Candy knows things that she doesn't want to speak on. But there is an issue between the two. NeNe said it's over. NeNe said that they brushed it, but she just never understood how she could make up with Portia, but not her. And she didn't do anything to that extent. I mean, I understand it, but you just got to keep it moving. Carlos says that the Real Housewives of Atlanta needs an anchor, which I do believe, but that person has to show up. That person can't get in their feelings. If you're going to be the lead, you want to be the HBIC, then you're going to have to act like it. And a lot of people don't like Teresa Giudice. However, Teresa, whether you think her and Melissa keep going back, Teresa has showed up for every single season, and say she hasn't. Somebody can argue with me. Say Teresa ain't show up every season. Teresa shows up every single season. And the difference between Teresa and Melissa is Melissa only goes against Teresa. That's it. I don't know any other person Melissa has ever gone against. You may not like Teresa as far as like the stuff that she does and everything like that, but Teresa has been through, I mean, yes, okay, going to jail and everything, that's not nothing to brag about. But like she said, she had a baby on the show. She went to prison on the show. Now, that's not nothing to brag about, but it happened. Jacqueline Larita was her friend, her close friend. She went in on Jacqueline when they had a falling out. Danielle, she went in on Danielle. Okay, she goes against Margaret. Caroline Manzo. Who else? Melissa, of course. She had something with her brother. Then she got with Louis. Had a divorce on the show. Are you serious? And people want to say, oh, Teresa, she doesn't bring anything. What? Teresa is New Jersey. Teresa has been the anchor. Now that's what I feel like is an anchor. That's what you call an anchor of the show. Teresa Giudice. She's an anchor. You don't have to like what she does, but you cannot say that Teresa comes on the show and doesn't do anything. That Teresa comes and just be like, oh, I'm not going to do anything on it. Teresa shows up and shows out every single season. And that's why, to me, she's the anchor of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. To me. You might be tired of the storyline between Melissa and Teresa, but Teresa is Melissa's storyline, because Teresa is Melissa's sister-in-law. So Teresa has an issue with her brother, not Melissa. That Melissa, she really don't have anything to do with it. They need to swap Joe out for Melissa and let him be the first house husband, because it's the drama between Teresa and Joe Gorga. Not Melissa just tagging along. Girl, get your own drama. I don't think she ever had any issue with anybody else but Teresa. I'm off on a tangent. But anyway, he asked her, can Sheree be the anchor? Okay, so they talked about Wendy Williams. Apparently, Wendy referred to NeNe as that girl over there, which I do remember. And here's what I'm going to say to NeNe. I don't understand why NeNe wanted to build a friendship with Wendy Williams. And I hope Wendy Williams is doing okay. You know, she's sick and everything. And I don't want to talk about her because she is sick. But why would NeNe want to build a friendship with a shock jock? Wendy Williams is a shock jock. Meaning to me, in my definition of a shock jock, they're not friends to nobody. They're not your friend. A shock jock is not your friend. They will read you down if they have to for their job. And that's Wendy Williams. I feel like people like that, and there are YouTubers like that who are shock jocks. Unless you were their friend in childhood, or you're not their friend as an adult, they will never be your friend. Because they're going to use any information to shade you. They're going to use it against you on Mad Day. So I don't know why NeNe wanted to befriend Wendy Williams, but I guess she wanted to be like maybe her... I guess learn from her, being since Wendy was like a interviewer, a talk show host. She's been on the radio. Maybe NeNe was trying to learn from her. But the fact that Wendy talked about her like that girl over there, that's how Wendy really felt. And I think NeNe, she tried to say, oh no, she was a different person behind this. No, that's how she really felt. That's really how Wendy felt about you. She says that she feel like, well, she didn't say that Wendy stopped her bag from the show, but every time a podcast or a talk show would come up, she would be talking about it, and she would hear nothing else about it. I feel like people have been taking information to executives. Maybe they heard something that NeNe has said, and when you up at the top, those people at the top call other people at the top, and they will not let you in the door. They will blackball you when you are not able to keep what you have to say. Maybe let your lawyers do it, maybe let somebody else do it. But when you're just like all over the place and you're just not irrational, that's not the right word. When you feel some type of way, and instead of being professional about it, you just start going rogue, they will blackball you. I'm not saying that it's right. But what happened to Mariah Huck, I really don't hear Mariah saying anything. And that's, I mean, yes, it's unfortunate. You know, you should be able to speak up and stuff, but Mariah, she really don't go in like how NeNe was going in. And that's the truth. That's the truth. And as a result, I feel like NeNe has been blackballed when she called Andy and she called Wendy. And then you going to Dead Mom Mercury and trying to get a show. They're not going to give you a show. Then they talked about who is a star and who's starless. He asked Giselle Bryant, starless, concur. Robin Dixon, she shouldn't even been on the list. She said starless, concur. Okay? Kenya Moore, she said in between star and starless, she said she felt like Kenya was, you know, held to a high standard when she was Miss USA. She would do shows and she would, you know, act and everything, and everybody loved her. But then when she came on the show, it didn't help her star because she was a villain. And maybe people thought she was one way on the shows and the movie, but when she came on the Real Housewives, it showed her true colors. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, that's NeNe's opinion. Kenya has added to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. She did. She did. Is she a star in her own right? Yes, I think so. Carlos asks, is Portia a star? NeNe says she's becoming a star. She asks if Phaedra was a star. She says no. Phaedra is more corporate. She looks at her as more corporate. An entrepreneur star. She asks if Candy is a star. She said Candy is a supporting star. He asked about Claudia. She said starless.
You wish you can get this check out here for this slogan. Like, and I can loan you some fashions because that is a piece of.
And you're dressing like
cheap.
This week.
This is off the runway. Now this is off the runway.
They don't make those sizes for the runway.
Girl, you better zip this zipper down and see what this is, honey.
I don't know.
They make them when you got the coins.
Really?
You can buy them off the runway, bitch. They will get your size.
Bitch, you overpaid.
No, I didn't overpay, honey.
You did. You got it wrong.
That's NeNe's opinion. Everybody, I feel like everybody, you know, like I said, brings different qualities. But the first two she did get right. Giselle and Robin. NeNe asked Carlos, do you feel like I was given fair treatment? I'm not about to go back and watch it, but to me, Carlos, he kind of circled around a question. I didn't hear a direct answer. He started crying and everything, and I didn't, maybe I missed it, but I didn't hear him say if he felt like she was mistreated or not. He gave her flowers, but he didn't say it. He said that she deserves so much more. I guess that's his answer. NeNe asked who Carlos' Sweet 16 would be, which was my Sweet 16. NeNe, Kim, Sheree, Phaedra, Candy, Kenya, Cynthia, and Portia. That's the cast right there. There is your cast right there. I agree with that. I said that in one of my videos. I agree with that. NeNe says Portia, Candy, Marlo, Kenya, and Drew. NeNe, now you lost me with that one. She said Bada Monyetta and Bada Sonya. I mean, I kind of do agree with that. That was pretty much it. It was a great interview. NeNe did make a suggestion that Carlos should do more in-person interviews, which I do agree with. I would like to see more in-person interviews. I feel like that was a great interview. It's more personal when you interview the person in person versus when you do it via Skype. I do agree with that. I do agree with that. That is my review for part 2 of the exclusive interview with the one and only NeNe Leaks. So I guess I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Flonk. Bloop, bloop, bloop.